Lewis Hamilton touched greatness in Germany, while Alex Albon's career looks to be in freefall. You can now watch full 24-minute episodes of The Inside Line at our new home on unbeaten.com. Lewis Hamilton equaled Michael Schumacher's record of 91 wins at the Nürburgring on Sunday, but he's not slowing down. "I am not done yet," he said. "I still feel I am able to improve. I still feel I am driving at a really good level." Mercedes had an 11th-hour scramble in Germany, with the team forced to fly 6 people out from its UK base after 2 of its staff tested positive for COVID-19 and 4 contacts were isolated. It didn't affect Lewis Hamilton, however, who still won the Eiffel race. There have now been 29 confirmed cases of COVID-19 from the almost 50,000 tests since June, the majority of whom are ancillary personnel not from the teams, F1 or the FIA, with the Mercedes cases the first from inside the paddock since Racing Point's Sergio Perez. And while Mercedes pit stops slowed, team boss Toto Wolff said that the outfit moved fast to plug the gap. "Well, every loss of an important member in the garage affects the race," Wolff said. "But I think we have got it under control by having backup back in Brackley, and they came, and in that respect, I think we should be in control of that situation." Alex Albon's Red Bull momentum took a beating at the Nürburgring, a punctured radiator forcing his first retirement for 2020 on lap 24. Debris, not contact with AlphaTauri's Daniil Kvyat, the cause. Albon had a scrappy race. The Anglo-Thai racer was forced to pit early on lap 8 after an opening lap lockup, before contact with Kvyat during a penalized pass on lap 17 that broke the Russian's front wing. But Red Bull team boss Christian Horner believed Albon's fight back from there was good enough to make the podium, had rising temperatures not forced him to stop to conserve the engine. "I think it's a shame that he didn't get a result out of today, because I think there was more to come," he said. The eyes of the world will be on Spain's Circuit de Barcelona-Catalunya this week, with 2-time F1 world champion Fernando Alonso set for his Renault return in a private filming day. The Spaniard is set to test the French marque's current car, with mileage limited to just 100 kilometers, which may force Renault to bring its 2018 vehicle to ensure Alonso can get maximum running. The 39-year-old is hungry to get up to speed ahead of his comeback next year, with team boss Cyril Abiteboul comparing him to a shark who wants to attack as soon as he smells blood. Alonso has yet to get trackside at an F1 event this year, though he hopes to be at next month's Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix.
Hopefully I can come to Imola, which is close to my home in Switzerland, and I will be available for the team for anything they need.
4-time F1 world champion Sebastian Vettel has been brutally honest, reflecting on his time with Ferrari, stating he has no regrets, but admitted there were fights he shouldn't have picked. Vettel will leave Maranello at the end of the year, having failed to emulate his idol Michael Schumacher's achievements there, with just 14 of his 53 wins earned for the prancing horse. But told Beyond the Grid, the official F1 podcast, there were things behind the scenes he could have changed.
There's things that I should have done better, things that maybe I should have seen earlier, fights that maybe I shouldn't have picked, but then again, I think everything that happened brought me to where I am now, you see what I mean?
The 33-year-old heads to Racing Point turned Aston Martin next year, a new project in which he's now additionally invested his own money, and one that he said has the right momentum behind it.
I think it was the mindset and the will to really do something and do something good, bring something good together. And it sounds like a fun project and something that, ultimately I decided I want to be part of. So it is very different to Ferrari.
Rio de Janeiro has taken a step closer to hosting its first Grand Prix since 1989, with promoter Rio Motorsports now having signed a deal with F1, but environmental concerns remain an obstacle. With the circuit currently planned for the Deodoro region, which hosted events during the 2016 Olympic Games, on an old military site located in the Camboata forest, requiring 70,000 trees to be cleared. The promoter has committed to planting 10 times that amount, or 700,000, part of which will be located on the same land, ensuring the total area with vegetation will be larger. The track's set to be the first on the calendar that is carbon neutral, but local opposition remains intact. With six-time F1 world champion Lewis Hamilton stating that the world doesn't need another circuit. I don't think with deforestation and everything, I don't think it's a smart move. I don't have the details of why, but it's not something I personally support, he said. Mercedes is set to forge closer links between its benchmark F1 team and performance road brand AMG from 2021, the German marque upping its game in marketing and technology transfer. The move was announced last week during a virtual investor and analyst conference in which Mercedes targeted structurally higher profitability, its mission to build the world's most desirable cars, affirming its commitment to F1, which will play a bigger part in driving that forward.
Formula One, as the pinnacle of motorsports, that's the highest form of performance. We will use the technology development in Formula One for performance hybrids and going into other exciting technologies in the future and put that into our AMG cars.
Mick Schumacher is set to follow in his father's footsteps to F1, with the 21-year-old rumored to be partnering Kimi Räikkönen at Alfa Romeo next year for the ultimate mix of youth and experience. Schumacher would become the first of his family to be on the grid since his beloved seven-time F1 world champion father Michael in Brazil 2012, and would replace Antonio Giovinazzi, with Räikkönen set to be on the cusp of his own contract extension. Schumacher currently leads the F2 standings with 2 rounds, 4 races to go, 22 points ahead of fellow Ferrari Driver Academy member Callum Ilott, with Honda protege Yuki Tsunoda in third. Schumacher was at Ferrari test track Fiorano last week to prepare for the Eiffel FP1 that didn't go ahead, driving 2018's SF71H, a step up from his father's F2004 car that he drove at Mugello.
The top speed, which is so incredible nowadays, which you wouldn't achieve with a 2004 car. But in general, I think also the whole mechanism in the car, the whole display, the steering wheel, how you can act and what you can do on track is very much different to all the 2004 possibilities you had.
3-time F1 world champion Sir Jackie Stewart has hailed commercial rights holder Liberty Media's choice of Stefano Domenicali as the sport's new president and CEO from 2021. The great Scott highlighted in a chat with Australian Grand Prix podcast In the Fast Lane that Domenicali's business acumen, allied to his past F1 experience, made him a natural successor to Chase Carey, who will move into the role of non-executive director.
Now you've got a motor racing man who's gone away and become a seriously successful businessman with Lamborghini, running the company of Lamborghini. Now he's going to come back to motor racing, and he was a very good team principal when he was at Ferrari.
Stewart was full of optimism about the future, with the 81-year-old hoping that the regulation revamp from 2022 can break Mercedes' dominance to usher in a new golden era of racing.
Right now, to be frank with you, first and second on the grid, I mean, occasionally you get another driver in there. An Australian isn't one of them right now, but a Dutch one is doing quite well from time to time. So therefore, I think we're going to see, if the new regulations play themselves well, I think we're going to see better racing.
Thanks for watching. To stay up to speed on all things Formula One, make sure you hit the subscribe button.